The strangers, believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, beneath the pale moon. Loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a creeping through the shadows in the corners of your mind. I but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering my name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Alright guys, I seem to have lost my co-host. I don't know where he is, so I'm going to jump in. We'll start the show, and if Satellite, if you're there, if you turn up, you turn up. If you don't, well, I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, also guys, we're sorry for not doing the show last night like we promised. We got to start talking about the Satellite's favourite little communist girlfriend there, and all of a sudden it was 10 or 11 o'clock before we knew it, and he wanted to go to bed, so we didn't get a chance to do the stream talking about Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. So I might do it on Monday or your Sunday. But yeah, but like I say guys, I'll put up a video or something, like a little 5-second video or something on this channel, telling you where it's going to be held and everything and when it's going to be on. So keep an eye out for that if it happens. Apart from that, if you're new here, if you're not already, smack that like button. I know 2 of you haven't. But if you haven't smacked that like button, obviously please do. And also guys, obviously these live shows are great and everything like that. Don't be afraid to post comments if you watch this afterwards in the comment section. I will always respond to the comments. We'll try to respond to the comments. I know there's one video yesterday I haven't responded to. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about some exciting news. Because Tommy Robinson is planning a massive anti-censorship rally. Welcome to the party. Tommy Robinson is planning a massive anti-censorship rally after the activist was banned from Facebook. In a YouTube video, Robinson 36 revealed how he was planning, along with other banned activists, to have a massive anti-censorship rally. Now he said you can now see the lengths that they would go to silence us. They're not just censoring me, they're censoring you. They're censoring you from having the ability to make up your own mind. Whether you agree with me or not, whether you agree with Jeremy Corbyn or not, whether you agree with any of these ideas, you have to be able to hear them, hear the ideas, and hear the counter arguments. And here's a point. The lies that Facebook are putting out, the lies that are being ran across the world by the media that I have instigated murder, violence against Muslims, every one of you that folks know me know that's a lie. So Tommy is currently in discussions with lawyers about taking Facebook to court over lies he alleged Facebook are telling, complete lies. And if you can't see the timing of this, the minute the BBC and the government and Hope Not Hate were exposed to the world, the minute they removed my ability to talk to you. And I do reckon that is a very good point. So Robinson was referring to his documentary Panorama, an expose of BBC's current affairs program Panorama. It's not really an affairs program, it's more investigation journalists, but anyway. Robinson urged his followers to see Panorama, which was released just days before his social media sites were purged. The BBC and establishment are working together to destroy anyone who goes against them. Robinson's book, Muhammad's Quran, a critical look at Islam's holiest of books, was also removed from Amazon, whilst Mein Kampf, Hitler's Manifesto, is still available. Funny how that is. People have to speak up now. Robinson employs his followers. Everyone knows if I've not incited any violence against Muslims. If I would have incited violence against Muslims, do you not think the British police would have arrested me? And he has a point. The fact that they have not arrested him proves... Gotta love comments. Yeah, I love comments. And obviously, guys, if you're in here and you're listening to us live, like, for example, some of the guys... Oh, hey, Satellite, he decides to show up. But yeah, if you're listening live... Hey, how are you, buddy? That's good. I don't know if they can actually hear you at the moment. Give me a sec. Sorry, guys. Sat has just jumped in. Nope, they can hear you now. Yeah. Hey, how have you been? Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I've been up for a little while, and yeah, I didn't see you online, so I thought you were going to be late.
No, I've actually been here for like over... Actually, I haven't been to bed since we last spoke.
Huh, okay. Yeah, you know, I think sometimes your thingy just doesn't change from yellow to green.
No.
Who knows why.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome to the party.
Well,
let me go through
yeah,
and
don't forget to switch on my graphics.
Yeah, I got to switch the graphics on now. But look, at the end of the day, obviously, jumping onto the story that we're actually talking about here with Tommy Robinson and stuff like that. Obviously, guys, look, I fully support Tommy for doing this. I would love to actually be there because I do support freedom of speech regardless of whether or not you agree with the message. So at the end of the day, yeah, it is a very, very big thing, and it's really important. And I'm glad Tommy is doing this. I do find it a little funny that he is doing it now after he's been banned, but you know, I suppose never late than never. But
yeah, I have noticed that a lot of the big profile guys, they don't seem to get the message until they come for them, and it is unfortunate, and I'd like to see more camaraderie, you know? People sort of team up. I find the anti-establishment is a bit too fragmented still.
Yeah,
you know.
This is something that you and I have actually talked about in the past, and as I've said before, look, at the end of the day, I think everybody sort of needs to, I don't want to say get all tribal and group together, but we need to support each other a lot more. And like, you know, like for example, when alt-right.com.net, whatever it was, went down, you know, I was one of the very few people that actually spoke up about it, considering, even though I didn't agree with the website, I don't agree with most of the articles on the website. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. But at the end of the day, I still spoke up in protection of them because I believe they have a right to their own channel. They have a right to their own website. And you know, like for example, Julian Assange. I've been a very vocal supporter of Julian Assange. You know, at the end of the day, if you don't have the right to freedom of speech, it like Tommy says, they're not just censoring him, they're censoring you from listening to this other point of view. And that I find very Llewellian, very dystopian, and very, very concerning. But like I said, there's no official dates or anything yet released for this. So we don't know exactly when it is. But at the end of the day, obviously I'll keep you guys up to date as much as I can. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for it. But he's still in talks with organising it and stuff like that. So it's, you know, it's a good thing. And look, he's going to pull a crowd. One thing about Tommy Robinson, he can definitely pull the crowd. So this is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Facebook because he's talking about doing
on Facebook there was actually a fake graphic running around. This got sent to me by email because I don't have Facebook, and someone just wanted to point this out to me. That there was a picture going around saying that Tommy Robinson, his latest rally was a complete failure. Basically, nobody showed up. I then was wondering what rally, and so I looked into it, and it's about the BBC rally.
There were thousands of people.
Yes, so when I looked into it, I saw that there was 4,000 people who showed up in support of Tommy, and 500 who showed up against Tommy. So then obviously I replied back to the email just going, hey, check this out. You know, this is a complete lie. And it was actually just interesting. Now, when did he get kicked off Facebook?
He got kicked off after that rally.
It was after that rally. Okay, so yeah, so he got kicked off, and then they were running that graphic around after he got kicked off. It's strange how people will believe it though. A lot of people will believe that nobody showed up to his rally.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that graphic getting around on Facebook yet. But then I haven't spent a lot of time on Facebook. But if I see it, I will respond and point out that it's a lot of crap, because I've saw the footage of how many people were there, and at the end of the day, there were thousands of people. I don't know how many were there, but there was a stack. But yeah, I was going to say, his last rally was the BBC expose, and they literally held it outside of BBC's office, and there were thousands of people there, man. It was a huge rally. But,
oh yeah, I saw the aerial drone photo of it. It was wow.
Yeah, I don't know how many were there. I thought the 4,000 might have been a bit of a low number, actually, to be honest. But
yeah, the source was the BBC that said there was 4,000 in support, 500 against.
Yeah, well, that tends to mean
could have been more than 4,000.
Yeah, it tends to mean that there might have been 8,000 there, and there was about 250 that were against, because they tend to inflate the numbers.
I just thought that if a source was going to disprove that thing, it was going. I thought the best one is the BBC themselves. Since he's actually, protesting against the BBC, so it's kind of like the best, strength against fake news.
Well, look, at the end of the day, if they ever want to know how many people were there, just ask the BBC how many people were outside your office. BBC, do a head count from your high-rise building and let us know how many people were there. But apart from that, like I say, look, at the end of the day, I don't know. Like I say, look, I do like the fact that Tommy is doing it. I do find it very weird that he is doing it now when he's been banned off the internet, and it's like, well, okay, where were you 6-12 months ago? But hey, at least never late than never. But yeah, I would like to see them put up some sort of advertising if they're going to have like a blank screen that's not being used. Maybe run advertising for like Gab and stuff like that. Maybe advertise some of us smaller YouTubers. Something that'll obviously go through and basically, because look, it's best to share the love around, so to speak, when it comes to obviously helping each other out, and this is something that the community doesn't do a lot of either. So yeah, I'd really like to. I don't know, but anyway, what are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
Yeah, a bit of sharing amongst creators. It does happen, but I think that. I think there are reasons why some people don't want to talk about other creators sometimes. I think that does happen.
Backstabbing,
usually because, YouTube drama gets very pervasive when a lot of creators start doing things together. I've seen it time and again. So I think a lot of people are wary of that. Maybe.
All right. So Jeffrey says in comments, gotta love the comments. Yeah, Jeff, we love the comments. The comments actually are good for the algorithm. You guys commenting on videos and stuff like that actually allows the videos to become more popular, because YouTube thinks there's interaction, so YouTube shares it. So it's actually a good thing for the videos to get commented on, which is why people always say comment on the video below. But yeah, it's a basic way of making the algorithm take notice of you, sort of thing. You said g'day everyone. Greg says it's okay, I'm here now. Okay, we can start the show. Greg's here, everybody. Hello Greg, how are you, buddy? TL Brian, love you bro, thank you, keep it up. Same to you, man. Jeffrey, gab.com. Yep, I'm on Gab, Jeff, and you're on Gab too, aren't you? Or is that? Are you on Gab?
Yeah. I have a Gab account. I haven't logged into it in like a year.
Well,
Same with my Minds account. I haven't logged into that in probably 8 months or so.
So there's probably no point following him, but yeah, I'm on Gab. I'm
not a big social media person.
No, he's pretty anti-social.
I mean, I have I have a Twitter account which I tweet maybe once a week. I just don't like social media very much.
I don't blame you.
I had a Facebook account, and I deleted that a long time ago. And then I went through all my social media and just literally deleted everything. Like I actually have two Twitter accounts and a Gab, and it's just blank. My main Twitter account has like 3 tweets. So that's me.
Greg says she gets a Minds account satellite. I think he means you should get a Minds account. You responded, have Minds, and then Jeffrey says computing forever uploading. TR. Oh, okay, what's computing forever uploading? Jeffrey? Yeah, I like computing forever. Actually, you make some good videos, so I'd have to check that out. All right. Let's jump into the second story because I really want to get to bed sometime soon because I got work early this afternoon. Royal mess. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will raise their baby as gender fluid. Really?
Apparently, yeah. Really?
I'm guessing this is not Prince Harry's idea. Prince Harry, dude, you're the future king. I'm pretty sure the future king has to grow a set of balls. But anyway.
Oh, that's really sexist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, so Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will be raising their new baby as gender fluid and won't impose any stereotypes on it, reported The Sun. Meghan Markle, 37, is 7 months pregnant and recently told guests at her baby shower that she'll be raising her child to be gender fluid. People speculated that she'll be avoiding dressing baby Sussex in pink or blue clothing like other raising their babies, children who are not referred to as he or she. I can't believe this is a frigging real thing. Friends who posted pictures from Merkel's baby shower on social media used the hashtag girl, suggesting that she'd be giving birth to the girl this spring. But hang on, I thought they were trying to avoid stereotypes. So why are they using the hashtag girl, and why are they worrying about the sex of the baby if it's parents raising gender fluid babies are all part of the Marxist movement that turns social norms upside down. But couldn't agree with more on that. A record number of children identifying as transgender in the UK, according to a study published this year, the UK Deed Poll Service. According to the study, one child under the age of 16 transitions every day, often with the new name. The royals are highly influential, not only in the UK but around the world. Expect more parents to follow suit and raise gender-fluid babies, which is why I reckon they are doing it. The comments on this are very interesting. I bet the Queen loves that. What an embarrassment. Whew. Her husband has expert depopulation, genetics and Marxist globalism for decades. Her son, Charles, is a global warming, climate changing worshipper. What is required to dissent Edward, Hammer of the Scots, including Braveheart Willie Wallace? They're going on about William Wallace or something. Poor Harry does not know how his real dad is, and now he'll never know who his child's sex. But this child will be a cokehead just like its parents, number one. Oof, that's a bit rough. Her grandson wears a Nazi uniforms to parties. Who did that? Who wore the Nazi uniform to a party?
I don't know.
So he is screwed up as she is. Sad to read. The comments in this aren't very positive. They really, really aren't. People are not happy about this. The Queen is
just bloody weird.
Yeah, the Queen is the only sane one in the bunch. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration too. Meghan Markle's an SJW defined. Henry is not allowed to go on the traditional fox hunt, and she's training him in SJW techniques like a dog on a leash. The most laughable feminized royal in the world history. Hey Harry, try being a man, it's liberating. People are writing emasculated. Like, the comments are just absolutely brutal. And you can't blame them. Like...
And they're supposed to be the royal family, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the man of the house. Like I said, grow some balls. Like,
yeah, how is he going to be respected in the future if he's, you know, leading the royal family and meeting with international leaders and stuff? It's like, come on, man.
You imagine him meeting President Trump. And Trump will be like,
oh, boy.
So, how's your kid? Oh, and you imagine Prince Harry. Oh, yeah, he, she, they, whatever they want to freaking call it, is great.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, Trump would be like, oh, did you take him fox hunting? Oh no, we believe that fox hunting is against nature. And Trump would be just like, you're a cuck. You're a pansy.
Trump would give him a knock on the shoulder, like, you know, hey man, like, you know, whack on there, and he'll be like on the floor with a broken nose because he's just so demasculated.
Like,
oh man.
And it's like, dude, you're the future king. Seriously, like, what the? She's not even that hot, okay? No offense, but if your girlfriend was drop dead gorgeous, blow your load in your pants, looking at her hot, maybe I might think of something as an excuse. But at the end of the day, she's not that hot. So,
I mean, I don't think she's like properly European either.
No, she's African American, isn't she? Isn't she part African American or something?
I don't know like exactly what she is, but I mean, I saw all the rage going on a few months, well, like a year or two ago, whatever it was, when they first announced being together and getting married. It was like, you know, you saw the memes as though like, how is this a thing? You know, she's not European.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's American born. And like, even on like Twitter, people are writing, please, for the love of God, make this the last American that actually goes into the royal family, because of the damage that she's done to him. Like, I think that's a bit unfair. Yeah. It's a bit unfair blaming any American for, you know, her actions. I think she's just a far leftist or a progressive leftist or whatever you want to call it. And I do wonder if the royal family is sort of being told to push these lines as a part of a globalist agenda. You going to tell me that like the powers that be haven't turned around and said to the Queen, we want you to raise your grandson as gender fluid because that influence that you have on people will cause them to do the same thing. Like, this is what they're banking on, right? They're literally banking on the fact that people will go through, see the Queen and the royal family do it, think it's cool, and they'll do it themselves. And obviously there will be some idiots out there that will do it. But, you know, like, at the end of the day, you really got to feel sorry for these kids that have been forced to put up with this shit. Like, this is probably one of the better reasons for emancipation I've ever heard. What's your excuse for emancipation? My parents tried to raise me as gender fluid. Signed. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I suppose we shouldn't joke about it, but, like, how many of these kids, like, you know, like, where does child abuse start and pushing social boundaries and whatnot finish? There's got to be somewhere between the two of them. But,
yeah.
Jeffrey wants you in chat, by the way. Yeah.
But the thing too is we've seen this sort of thing actually grow as well. Or was it the statistics here in Australia was like a 400% increase in gender fluidity / transgender. So they're just trying to increase the just don't increase the flow of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and look, you know, like we covered it yesterday in the Olympics, and I can't believe my yesterday's video was actually monetized. But I was going to say, you know, like yesterday's video, for example, we were going through and we're talking about the transgenders in the Olympics. Like, it's just, like, you know, it does really make you wonder, like, at what point do you have to sit there and think, okay, these leftists are so far gone that I don't even want to be around them anymore. And I'm not talking about killing anybody or anything like that, YouTube, so don't even get that idea. I'm just saying, like, there must be a point where the conservatives sit there, look at these progressive leftists, think they've gone bat something or rather crazy, and then go off and build their own civilization. Like, how much of this is, like, that they don't respect laws, they're trying to go through and presume everybody is guilty until proven innocent. They keep harping on about reparations and everything for something that happened 400 years ago. You know, they literally want to divide everybody up into their own groupings of race, color, sexuality, and whatever it may be. Like, these people, they're a nightmare to be around. You must wonder at some point, you know, like I've always joked, you know, plan I is me go and buy an island. But, you know, it does make you wonder, like, you know, like, how much can society take? Like, how much can conservatives and not even conservatives, just normal people put up with this shit before they just sit there and think this is enough? I just don't want to be around these people anymore.
Yeah. No, people don't like being around these negative forces that just want to divide people. You know, it's not nice.
Mm.
And there is that good point. Greg brought it up. I saw that.
Mm.
The royal family and the elite families, they do have a problem with the whole. They don't go out of their circles too much, especially with their children, and they do the whole, like they do promote marrying within the elites.
Yeah.
And bringing outsiders in does happen every now and then for the enhancements of the gene pool. That is a true point. So.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, I don't know. The best thing is this is probably going to red pill a whole bunch of people. That's the only bright side I can take out of this gender fluid shit is that this is literally going to red pill people. People are going to look at the royal family and think they are frigging mad. They've lost their last marble that they had, and they're going to sit there and think, I don't want anything to do with this far left progressive bullshit. But anyway, we should probably keep going because, like I say, I got to go to bed soon. But Gab has the Center app where you can comment now on any video. Yes, Greg, I've been meaning to check that out actually. I have heard really good things. It's a Gab, guys. Gab does the Center now. Very worthwhile checking it out. Prince Harry should ask his wife.
Is that the same service that also includes commenting for stories on the internet too? Like commenting on like mainstream media articles?
Yep.
So that is that one. Okay, because I actually thought there was another one for that, but
no.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so Prince Harry should ask his wife for his balls back. Totally agree, Greg. Yes, there's also a website out there for lets you comment on MSN websites articles. It's the same thing. Forgot what it's called. It's Center. Jeffrey, careful what you wish for. I don't know what we're wishing for, Gary. If you wanna, yeah.
It doesn't matter context on that one. It's just always a good thing to be careful what you wish for.
True. Okay. Socialite, Greg, we're the melting pot. We should be happy to have a fresh infusion of DNA into the post-like family tree. Yeah, I don't know if this is like I'm all for, you know, diversity and shit. But at the end of the day, I don't know if this was actually a good idea that this one was an injection into the royal family. But anyway, I think Prince Harry would have been better off picking someone else, to be honest. Maybe someone a little more traditional. And Greg wrote, maybe we could pool our money and buy an Epstein Island. Well, we could buy an island. I don't know if we want to buy an Epstein Island though. But moving along.
Yeah, you never know what you'll find when you start digging holes.
Yeah, that's it.
Build foundations.
Although he has been sued for $250 million, isn't he, lately with the Amazon or whatever? Oh no, that's Jeff Bezos, isn't it? Right, let's jump into the next story. California City removes statue of President McKinney in dead of night. I wonder why. The city of California removed a statue of President William McKinney before dawn on Thursday, bowing to the wishes of the Native American political activists and breaking a promise by the city council to notify the public. McKinney, a Republican, is considered one of the better presidents in the US has had. At the time of his assassination by an anarchist in 1901, he was one of the most beloved presidents in American history. The article in Politico recalled recently. Born in Ohio, he fought for the Union in the Civil War. His presidency is associated with the expansion of American power across the globe and the growth of the American industry, including through tariffs. In 2015, over Ohio's injections, President Barack Obama renamed Mount McKinney in Alaska, the highest peak in North America at 20,300 feet, to Denier, an absence name, which was what locals had called it anyway. So not only have they removed the statue, but they've also removed him from a mountain as well. Great. It's not like they're, trying to remove history. But radicals in Araka, I'm getting that name wrong, wanted more, of course, because they're never satisfied. That's why you never bend the knee. As Breitbart News reported in 2018, they agated for the removal of the local McKinney statue, arguing that McKinney represents settler colonialism, and damaged Native American tribes.
Colonialism.
Yeah, whatever. Yep. The Eureka Times Standard note that the activist said he represented imperialism, white supremacy, and genocide.
That's imperialism.
Hey?
That one was imperialism.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah. The city council finally relented and voted in February to send the statue to a monument in Ohio. But the Times Standard reported Thursday the city removed the statue without notice. The activists complained that the city's move meant it still was insensitive to the feelings of Native Americans. That did not stop the activists' celebrations. There's been a nationwide push for the removal of Confederate statues since the mass shooting by a neo-Nazi who murdered 9 worshippers at the Emmerich Methodist Elvis Church, a historic black congregation in Charleston, South Carolina in 2015. However, McKinney fought on the side of the Union, not for the Confederates. In his much maligned and mischaracterized press conference after the Charlottesville, Virginia riots in 2017, which were triggered by a controversy over the statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, President Donald Trump warned that other statues of non-Confederate presidents would be next to follow. Are we going to take the statues of George Washington? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? He said. And it's a very good point. Where does it end? Of course it doesn't. But anyway. Final thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
No. They just keep taking down statues. They just want to erase history of certain people. It's just the continuation.
It makes you wonder if they're going to go and try and remove the statues of Mount Rushmore. You can just imagine a leftist trying to climb Mount Rushmore with a chisel and hammer.
Yeah, it's iconoclasm, the removal of historical icons.
Hmm. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, obviously, look, it's ridiculous. If you also, if you remove history, you can rewrite it to anything you want to. So there might be a bit of that too. The fact that if they remove enough of history, they can then make out that black people were slaves, and then they're not saying they weren't, but make it out that it was a lot worse than it really was. They can rewrite history to however they see fit, and the last thing we want is the left to get hold of the history books because. Well, all of a sudden everything's racist, everything's sexist, everything's misogynist, everything's, white supremacy. But anyway. Big business and big government begs Amazon to come back to New York City. Why did Amazon leave New York City again? Was it some politician that led a protest and got him to pull out. But anyway, dozens of CEOs...
a complete fool known as Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah, so dozens of CEOs and government officials signed an open letter begging Amazon to continue with its development of the HQ2 in New York City. For guys who aren't familiar, they're actually going to go through and revitalize a derelict building site. So it would have been great because obviously the government or the city wouldn't have had to pull it down, or it wouldn't have been a health risk, and B, it would have been good for obviously the environment and also good for the local economy. The New Yorkers do not want to give up on the 25,000 permitted jobs, 11,000 union construction and maintenance job, and the $28 billion in new tax revenues that Amazon was prepared to bring to our state. A declared majority of the New York supporters in this project were disappointed by a decision not to proceed. Maybe they should be more focusing on AOC, but anyway. Declared the letter addressed to Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who appeared in the New York Times. We understand that becoming home to the world's industry leader in e-commerce, logistics and web service would be a tremendous boost for our state's technological industry, which is our fastest growing generator of new jobs. As representative of as a wide range of government, business, labour's, community interests, we urge you all to reconsider so you can move forward together. We know the public debate that followed and announced of the Long Island City project was rough and not very welcoming. Opinions are strong in New York, sometimes stranded. We consider it part of the New York charm, but when we commit to a project as important as this, we figure out how to get it done in ways that works for everyone, it continued. Governor Cuomo will take personal responsibility for the project's state approval, and Mayor de Blasio will work together with the governor to manage the community development process, including the workforce development and infrastructure investments that are necessary to ensure Amazon campus with the tremendous benefits to residents and small business in the surrounding communities. It's kind of a bit of a begging letter for them to come back, isn't it?
Yeah, they really. I mean, it was going to be a massive boon for the city, and it's awful that it didn't happen. They need that injection of money. They're not magically saving money because of that tax base. She just doesn't understand economics.
What I find funny is that the only time they mention what actually happened and why they left is towards the end of the article, down the bottom here. It says, last month, Amazon pulled out of its plans to build part of its new headquarters in New York City following heavy opposition to the move from figures across the political spectrum, including Representative Alexandria Cortez, AOC, whatever, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Fox News host Tucker Carlson. That doesn't really go into great detail about what actually happened, does it?
No, they don't want to punch left.
Maybe they should, but anyway.
Surprising, being that it's Breitbart.
Yeah, well, you think Breitbart would, but Yeah, I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, obviously it's no one's really winning by them not doing this. It's not like they've turned around and said, okay, well, we're going to start up a head office somewhere else. What they're basically doing is they're just going to go through and reallocate the jobs to different offices, which I suppose is good in a way. But yeah, look, if I was California, I would be pissed off. They didn't, no, New York especially. I would be pissed off that they're not coming. I would be furious with AOC and Bernie Sanders and the rest of the Democrats for screwing over, basically screwing over New York. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would be too. Also, there were people that were getting ready to move there.
Yeah.
Yeah, people had purchased homes and property and also.
Jeffrey in chat says, short story, tax abatements and public money. NPC says, hello little raccoon, I hope you are well. We are well. I'm very, very tired, which is why we're sort of flying through the news today. I've been up since 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon or whatever it was. But yeah, no, I'm really well, and I think you're good, aren't you, sir? How are you? Good?
Yeah, sure am.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no, we're good, man. Good of you to join us. Thanks everybody for joining us. But let's jump into it because we do have a bit of an update on the man arrested in the attack on the conservative activist at UC Berkeley. So some of you may remember that I believe it was Charlie Kirk's foundation, which is Turning Point USA, was there doing a bit of a speech and a table sort of thing. And one of their men was attacked. So a man being sought for the assault of a conservative activist on the University of California, Berkeley campus last month has been arrested. A statement from the UC Berkeley Public Affairs said a warrant was issued for a suspect, Zachary Greenberg. A UC police arrested him Friday, booking him into jail at 1 p.m. Greenberg was identified as one of two men who confronted a conservative activist who had set up a table in Sproul Plaza. Hayden Williams, a volunteer with conservative group Talking Point USA, was displaying signs that read, "Hate crime hoaxes hurt real victims," "Bloody racist, didn't he?" A reference to the Jussie Smollett case, and another saying, "This is mega country." Obviously also in reference to Jussie Smollett. Greenberg was seen on the video landing 2 punches in Williams, one at glancing blow and another much hard directly into his face. The incident was recorded by 2 Cal students with cell phones, and videos of them encountered has since gone viral. Police will formally present the case to the Alameda County District Attorney's Office for consideration of the filings of criminal charges, the university has said. Look, at the end of the day, I like the fact that he was arrested. I'm glad he's arrested. It's one less thug on the street. I'm not too keen on his sort of sentencing and what he'll get. I think he's going to get probably a smack on the wrist. I don't think he's going to get any sort of major sort of
yeah, well, it depends
punishment.
if the victim presses charges in or sues, because that would make it worse. Going after him in the civil courts probably would bring down a harsher punishment.
Do it, man. Yeah. Do it. Sue the crap out of this guy. He literally just punched a guy because he didn't like him, because of his political views are different. It's ridiculous. It really is. I don't like being Sue happy, but these libtards need to really learn that at the end of the day, you just go around and start beating on people, you're going to get sued. You can't.
Yeah, well, there's an 81-year-old guy who was attacked by some young woman. I mean, left on right violence at the moment is crazy.
Yeah, and look, there is obviously right on left violence. There are obviously, but there is a large portion of it. Yeah, and there is a large portion of it that it is against Trump supporters or conservatives. And I do think the mainstream media has a bit to play in this, because like Trump literally calls them the enemy of the people. He's right. They've literally spent 2 or so years going on about how he's literally Hitler. And people who are Trump derangement syndrome keep getting told that this guy's literally Hitler, and all of a sudden, you know, here's some guy supporting literally Hitler, so to speak. Then yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's, you know, do we want to go adding politics to protected classes? Maybe, you know, I don't know.
Well, I'm against protected classes in general.
Me too, but they seem to be very one-sided at the moment. You know, it's Good night, Greg. Have a good night, man. But yeah, at the moment, you know, it's very much one-sided. So, you know, maybe use these systems that they want to bring in, and maybe all of a sudden they might sit there and think, well, shit, maybe this isn't such a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. I just... Yeah. Dude, something has to be done. We can't just have people being punched out because they have a different opinion. It's getting ridiculous. So, but I don't know. Any final thoughts?
When it comes to police in general, I don't know. I don't think that there's enough police to do this, because your average Trump deranged person is just anybody. It could be anybody. In general, crimes are prosecuted in hindsight, never before they occur. I mean, if you want that, then, I mean, yeah, some people might be living in a fantasy Minority Report kind of thing. I don't think we're ever going to get there until AI is very good.
I'm generally against these thought crimes and stuff like that anyway, or future crimes, all this sort of shit. Yeah. Minority Report showed how bad that
Watch Dogs had an interesting kind of concept to it. You know, CTOS was able to extrapolate movement and patterns to figure out if a crime was going to occur. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Dude, you're living in a police state. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's 1984 right there. You know?
Yeah, that's fucking scary as shit. Yeah.
But anyway. John's building that right now, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, who knows. Texas grandma rescued after posing on iceberg throne that drifted out to sea during Iceland vacation. I originally saw this and thought, oh my god, my mum is in the news, because this is something that she's doing, and she's over there at the moment. But anyway, so Texas grandma got to be the queen of the ocean for a short time when an iceberg throne she sat on to pose for a picture drifted off to open water while on vacation in Iceland. Judith Strange and her son Rob were travelling in Iceland recently when they stopped at the Diamond Beach in some name I'm not going to try and pronounce for a great photo op on what looked like a throne straight out of Disney's Frozen. It was shaped like a easy place to sit, and you can tell by looking at the shape of it, and I thought, well, it looks like fun, Strang told ABC News. When I got on, it started to totter and wave was coming in. She added, a very large wave came in and kind of made the throne kind of rock, and I could tell that I was slipping off. Photos of the ideal went viral after Strangberg's granddaughter Catherine shared screenshots of the hilarious tweets from her father on Twitter. Lost her kingdom when she adrift out to sea. Sick. One of those texts said, no joke, a Coast Guard rescuer had to save her and bring her back to shore. The 77-year-old from Flora Meadows, Texas, told ABC News that she thought she was safe when she sat down and that she had been seen several people sitting on it before she had her try. I don't weigh very much, so it was a little easier to float off, I guess, String said. I've always wanted to be the queen. That was my chance. A bystander who happened to be a boat captain trained in water rescue quickly helped to bring the grandmother back to shore. So yeah, I think it's kind of a funny story. I initially saw this and thought, oh my god, my mum's in the news.
Comic relief.
Yeah. All right. Earth is greener today than it was 20 years ago, thanks to human activity. NASA study shows. Oof! Don't tell the left. So a new findings from NASA revealed the planet has seen overall increase in greening over the last 20 years, mainly due in part to ambitious tree planting programs. The research published on February the 11th found that the greening of the Earth over the course of the last 2 decades has shown an overall increase by 5%, equates to more than 2 million square miles of green leaf area per year compared to the early 2000s. The data, which compiled satellite images from the mid-1990s taken by Boston University and those collected from the 2 NASA satellites orbiting the Earth for the 20 years, showed that both China and India are leading the way in greening of the globe. Qing Jing, the Department of Earth and Environment at Boston University, lead author of the study, said that 2 countries account for 1/3 of the greening, but contain only 9% of the planet's land area covered in vegetation. Initially, researchers attributed the change to warmer weather, wettier climate, and the fertilization from added carbon dioxide, but Roman Niemanson, I'm getting that name wrong, a research scientist at NASA MIT's Research Center, said that the new data shows that humans are also contributing. Nomini pointed out that China's program to conserve and expand forests and India's cultivation of food crops. Now that we know the direct human influence is key driver of the greening Earth, we need to factor this into our climate modules, she continued. This helps scientists make better predictions about the behavior of different Earth systems, which will help countries make better decisions about how and when to take actions. In other words, we're not going to die in 12 years after all. Who would have thought? They tell
increased carbon dioxide causes greening. It's observable.
But they also say that we're planting more too.
Oh, no, I understand that. I actually thought that, as you're going through the story, I was like, oh, here we go, NASA with their half-truths again, but then they brought up the carbon dioxide thing. I'm like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Because, they often say that the carbon dioxide is a terrible thing, and it's like, well, no. High oxygen would actually be far worse, because it only takes a small increase over the atmospheric level of oxygen to actually cause a very dangerous situation where things can very easily get lit on fire.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think it's kind of a good thing that we're greening the planet. I'm all for it, within obviously reasons and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, kind of a feel-good story. Don't believe everything you read about us all wiping out humanity within the next 12 years. AOC, cough, cough. But
yeah, and also just
plant a tree. See, Jeffrey even agrees. So
yeah, no, it's a great thing. It'll increasing the carbon dioxide level will have some effect on global warming, but to me, it's more methane that we need to worry about. To me, I know that scientists are pretty freaked out about the concept that as the shale ice is melting, I think that's what it's called, shale ice or deep ice. There's enough methane trapped down there that when that starts to melt out and release, apparently only a small percentage of that methane being released would basically turn this planet into a hellhole.
Yeah, well, AOC's worried about farting cows. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, methane from that is nothing compared to the methane that will come out from the deep ice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The deep ice is trapping enough methane. Jesus, I think there's enough methane down there that you could just trap it all up in tanks, and you could probably run the planet for like 1,000 years. in energy creation, which is actually something that they're thinking of trying to do. They're like, well, one of the experiments they're trying to do, the problem is the pressure. And so one of the experiments is if they can manage the pressure, they can harvest all of that methane and then use it for energy production rather than risking just letting it go into the atmosphere and cause chaos. I was reading about that. It's actually quite fascinating. They're coming up with some ideas to handle the pressure. It's pretty cool stuff.
All right. Terrifying scenes as a redback eats a baby brown snake for dinner. So obviously we're heading over to Australia right now. But a Victorian woman took a series of horrifying pictures on Wednesday that made it very easy to understand why many tourists are terrified of Australian wildlife. Robin McLean came across a terrifying scene at Grimsby Wines in the state's northeast after she spotted a redback spider disavowing what believed to be a baby eastern brown snake. Instead of running away screaming like most people would, Miss McLean decided to get some close-up shots. So she uploaded the pictures to Facebook, noting that the spider had brought the snake entirely off the ground and suspended it in the mid-air. Redback spiders have been known to prey on small lizards and snakes from time to time, but it doesn't make the sight any less frightening. They catch the large prey by creating a trap that they get tangled in or crawl underneath and bite them before they can react. So for big catches like the snake, the spider will inject devastating fluid into the animal to soften up its insides before sucking it all up. People were understandably freaked out by the pictures, with many in shock that a spider could actually kill a snake. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen myself, McLaren said, when commenters questioned on how the spider could do it. Now that's an ambitious redback, another person said. One joked, Tourism Australia should use this photo. And obviously the photo's on the screen. You can actually see it. Redback spider literally taking out a snake. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a decent sized redback.
Yeah.
But
I've actually seen every single episode of Monster Bug Wars on YouTube, and there's something similar to one of these where they actually saw a spider catch a scorpion, and I just was like, "Are you serious?"
Oh yeah.
Like, the thing is, it's the venom potency of the redback. The venom in spiders mostly, almost every spider's venom does more of the same thing, which is attack the central nervous system. And yeah, and there's also a video I saw not long ago where it was one of those jumping spiders here in Australia. God, I think it was not the trapdoor. It was one of the other ones, and the spider got bit by it. And the guy was was actually filming it, and within a few seconds, the snake started twisting and turning itself with such veracity that it actually killed itself because it was smashing its own head on the ground.
Ouch.
Oh yeah, I was like, holy crap.
It's one way to go, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, senators on the Green New Deal doesn't go too far. The future of the planet is at stake. Let me just reiterate that Earth is greener today than it was 20 years ago thanks to human activity, NASA study finds. But never mind, Bernie Sanders reckons the planet is still at stake. Friday on ABC's The View, Senator Bernie Sanders said Republican Alexandria Cortez's Green Deal does not go too far. Co-host Sammy Houston asked, does the Green Deal go too far? Sanders said, no, you cannot go too far on the issue of climate change. I don't know, the trillions of dollars it would cost to do it. Sort of, debunks that theory, but anyway. The future of the planet is at stake, okay? Just to reiterate, the Earth is greener today than it was 20 years ago, thanks to humanity activity, NASA study finds. Don't tell Bernie Sanders. But he added, we have, according to the best scientists in the world, we have 12 years to begin substantially cutting carbon emissions before there'll be irreparable damage to the planet. I've already seen this movie, Bernie. Okay, it was called Inconvenient Truth and it came out about 15 years ago. I talked to some of the folks who were in Paradise, California. Remember the terrible, terrible fire that wiped out the whole community? Yes, because they didn't backburn. Had nothing to do with global warming, unless you want to claim that global warming caused heat wave. Well, you know, that's debatable, but anyway. It still doesn't prove that it was human-made, but anyway. I don't know. What are your thoughts? No?
My thoughts are, I actually, sorry for the delay,
That's right.
I actually have a little link for you, and just show this, backing the completion of this reactor would basically be far cheaper than the Green New Deal. So it's in live show text here for you. Just bring this up. And this is expensive, sure, the Wendelstein 7X, but it is completely clean. If they just back the completion of this and put their money into this, it'd be far cheaper than basically rebuilding everything from scratch.
Hang on a sec, that's not going to work. Copy that.
Yeah.
Let's try this one. Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to go to the toilet for a bio break. Do you want to go through and read this up?
Sure, oh yeah, I'll give it a read up.
Thanks, man. Back in a sec.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Okay. So this reactor is basically a fusion reactor, and just loading it up again. Okay. So the Wendelstein 7X reactor is the latest in a global push to build a practical reactor that harnesses the power of the stars. This nuclear reactor, the latest experiment in the quest to produce clean, sustainable power from controlled nuclear fusion. Chancellor Angela Merkel flipped the switch on the Wendelstein 7X, a $435 million donut-shaped apparatus built at the Max Planck Institute for Particle Physics in Greifswald. Hydrogen was injected into the device, superheated by microwaves until it became a type of matter known as plasma for a fraction of a second. Smashing hydrogen nuclei together releases huge amounts of heat. This is how the sun works, and not much radioactive byproduct. But despite decades of research, nobody has yet produced more energy from fusion reaction experiments than the energy put in. However, I think that they just need to do more research. This is basically like the tokamak. Still, interest in fusion power is growing worldwide. A number of commercial and research efforts have made recent incremental achievements, and new corporate players have come into the mix, including an effort by Lockheed Martin. Most efforts try to contain hot plasma within strong electric currents using a donut-shaped device called a tokamak. The world's largest tokamak is under construction in France at an international facility known as ITER that might cost $50 billion when completed. It's still cheaper than the Green New Deal. Commercial players are exploring all kinds of exotic setups. TriAlpha, a company based near Irvine, California, is testing a linear-shaped reactor. The Helion Energy of Redmond, Washington, is trying to use a combination of compression and magnetic confinement, while General Fusion, based in Vancouver, British Columbia, tries to control plasma using pistons to compress molten lead and lithium. The mixture also acts as a coolant that can be circulated to generate electricity through conventional steam generators and turbines. These efforts are all many years away from providing meaningful amounts of electricity, but we could speed it up with the money from the Green New Deal, as is the reactor that we tested today in Greifswald. Its design is something different again. Though similar in shape to a tokamak, it uses a complex system of magnetic currents to do the confinement. It is known, fittingly, as a stellarator. What do you guys think? Oh, what do you think? Sorry. Are you back, Nonpartisan? Damn, I finished the story. He's not back yet. What do I do? What do I do? I don't want to have dead air. Look, okay. In all honesty, the best thing I can come up with right now is there are a lot of things that the society is doing, governments are doing, which is obviously carbon taxes, green new deals, all these fancy ideas. But I think that pouring more resources into this kind of technology, I think that's the way to go. And one of the interesting things is that a device like this should be able to theoretically produce so much energy from hydrogen that you could probably build one in orbit and then build a ship around it. And then with that much energy, I believe you could have, because I don't know if it was Lockheed Martin or if it was Boeing or something, but they've come up with some interesting shields, energy shields. And I mean, not like the ones like on like the Starship Enterprise, more like the deflector on the Starship Enterprise. And with something like this, you can block out the radiation without having to have a lead-lined ship. So things like this they're fascinating, and I don't like 435 million here, there. The amount of money that they spend, 50 billion at the ITER, that's still far cheaper than the Green New Deal. So just pour money into
the New Deal is trillions of dollars.
Yeah. $1 trillion injection into any of these donut-shaped hot plasma thingamajiggies would basically probably allow for them to complete a project much, much, much quicker. But as is, the common human thing, we pour money into dumb ideas than good ideas in science.
Yeah, well, they built solar freaking roadways, but anyway. But yeah, I was going to say that so the study has pegged the cost at $93 trillion for the new Green Deal. Like,
yeah, why don't they just put 1 trillion into one of these reactor projects is in Washington. They don't even have to put money overseas. They can just do it in their own Washington state.
Look, at the end of the day, obviously, I'm all for them going through and actually spending. Sorry, I was just reading 7 Graham's column. But I was going to say,
I probably read it very quickly. I'm a bit like Tim Paul. I just go through a story. I rapid fire.
What's he say? I'm having trouble wrapping my head around you gents, just possessing the panda at will. But like I say, yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. I don't think the panda was moving when I could have hooked that up, but anyway. But what I was going to say was.
No, wait. Yeah, Russian bot. I missed that. Thorium reactor. I'm also fully behind that one too. Thorium salt reactors are incredible, and that is actually a really good stopgap measure between now and completing fusion reactors. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they also have a very low chance of meltdown and stuff like that.
Almost nil. And China is actually building one already.
And guess what? Australia produces thorium
first.
Sorry?
Oh, yes, we do, yeah. And we have salt mines. We have tons of salt mines here.
Yep. We have everything we need. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it doesn't give the government the excuse to dig up uranium because they need uranium for nukes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all in support of digging up some uranium too because, it's great for some medical things as well.
True.
I believe you do need uranium for a thorium salt reactor. It's still based upon something to do with nuclear decay.
Yeah.
Another wonderful thing you can do with it is, what was it? Those small little reactors that you take nuclear waste after the rod is kind of done.
Yeah.
And it's basically a small device with thing around it, and it just produces power for 20 years. I think it's around about 2,000 watts you get out of it.
So anyway, getting back to the story, because I really got to get to bed soon. And it's already half an hour almost after I wanted to leave. Chancellor Merkel flipped the switch on the Wednesday 7X.
Oh, I've already read the story out.
Yeah. So obviously I was on the top when I didn't hear it. So she's greenlit this project, has she, or has she killed it?
No, no, yeah, it was greenlit. This is not even that new. I just thought I'd bring it up.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I
Yeah,
think
2016.
What's the date on it?
2016.
Yeah,
February 3rd.
Yeah,
So
it's not
2
that
years
old.
3 years.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's just it was basically to point out that when you were reading the story in the Green New Deal.
Yeah. All right.
You know.
Yeah, I'd much rather go through and supply stuff like this, even 0 point energy, whatever it may be. If the left want to go through and spend $93 trillion to put this new Green Deal through, I think that's money that could be spent more worthwhile spent on researching new technologies, to be honest. But that's just me. So last story for the day, guys, because I got work this afternoon. I really got to go. Ex-transgender man now wants to live as sexless alien and has had his nipples removed. They wonder why people drink. They really do.
Hang on. What's this person? This person was born which sex? Do you know?
So has had nipples removed. Sorry. So yeah, So I read he's has had, but anyway, yeah. So Jareth Nablinka, 33, has shunned human genders and now wants to be accepted from being from another planet. And I want $1 freaking trillion. I have a better chance of getting it than he does from being from a different planet. But anyway, Jareth Nabina might...
Psychosis.
Yeah, really. It is, actually. Might live on Earth, but family believes he belongs on another planet. I would actually happen to agree with him on this one. But anyway, the 33-year-old was born to a woman, but transitioned to become a man when he was 29. Now believes he doesn't fit into any human gender and is in fact, an alien.
I hear the sun is quite nice this time of year.
The what? The sun?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he could go and live
That's
on
a nice planet to go to.
Yeah. Anyway, the barber's shop receptionist has even had his nipples removed and shaved his eyebrows to make him feel less human. Jareth, who's named himself after David Bowie's character in The Labyrinth, and Nebraska like a space cloud, already has 78 stars across his body in hopes to increase it to 333, as 3 has always been my lucky number. I'd ask for your luck back, dude. Really would. Living alone now is just wants people to accept who he is and admits he'd rather be called thing or it rather than he or she. Okie dokie.
Where's this person's where's its family? Because you can intern people into wards. This person needs a lot of professional help.
Yeah, but look, at the end of the day, is he really he, she, it, whatever? Is he really hurting anybody?
Probably not.
Look, at the end of the day, I know this is going to sound a little weird coming from me, but look, to be honest, if you want my opinion on this guy's a Fruit Loop, sure. He's weird, he's wacky, whatever. But guess what? If he's really shunning away from humanity and he's not mixing with people and he's not forcing his agenda on anybody or anything like that.
No, if anything, he wants to leave.
Yeah, well, yeah, he literally wants to shun humanity. So at the end of the day, I reckon, look, mate, if you see this story for some weird reason, you want to know my opinion on it, good luck to you.
I do have a good destination. It can go live with Freely, the banana girl, out in the middle of nowhere. The psychosis can live with psychosis out there.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I feel human. I can't really explain it to others. I'm simply otherworldly. I don't feel comfortable even as a gender or anything in between. I know I'm stuck in a human form and that's how I'm perceived by others. But to me, I'm alien with no gender.
Oh, where do you find this?
Oh, you don't want to know. Jareth felt that he did not fit in when he was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome (EDS), which is a rare lifelong condition affecting connective tissue and resulting in stretchy skin and an increased range of joint mobility. Although he was born with the condition, he was not diagnosed until he was 26. Nicknamed Mr. Elastic by his doctor due to his stretchy skin and condition that can cause him chronic pain. Do we really need to keep going on about this? And yep, it's had its nipples removed. Oh boy.
I don't think there's anything much more to say other than just good luck to you, and I hope you find your otherworldly place.
You go, you do you, I suppose. Yeah, so that happened apparently. But yeah, so obviously just wrapping up the comments here. NPC, Thorium Reactor, which we first spoke about. Jeffrey Rudolph, Global Scheme for NWO, or New World Order. I believe he's talking about the New Deal when he's talking about that. 7 Graham, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around you guys gents possessing the panda at will. 7 Graham, people see freaks shows up. Sorry, start again. People say freak shows are bad. Now these folks are wandering around looking for their little tribes. It's a little sad. It is sad. Like my panda. It's sad. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, like I say, look, to be honest, I don't really care about this guy. I just thought it was weird and wacky and...
Yeah, the weird and wonderful people out there.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say wonderful, but sure. Let's say that. Look, at the end of the day, obviously, like I've said, look, this guy can go do him somewhere. I don't care where he goes. He's not going to hurt anybody. He's not going to bother anybody. He's not even going to approach anybody. Apparently, he seems pretty antisocial. So, you know, Mr. Elastic can go something himself, I suppose. But I don't know, apart from that... Yeah.
You think Mr. Elastic would actually be more interesting than Captain Marvel?
To watch as a superhero?
Yeah. You know, I think there was a character, it was like that big stretch dude in the cartoons when I was growing up.
True.
Like, it was Rubber Man or Mr. Elastic or something. I think that'd be more interesting, actually.
Well, yeah.
And this person does look so freakish that actually just doesn't even need makeup. Just comes into work and just looks crazy.
Well, you heard about Rotten Tomatoes removing all the scores of the future movies coming out? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the reaction. It's like when Netflix removed, I think they removed it, then they restructured it and put it back on after that leather special thing on Netflix. It's like they just see the bad ratings and they just go, oh, it's trolls, and they go and change the whole system because of one person's feelings.
Yeah, I reckon it's just because of the fact they just don't want people commenting, and they just don't want people realizing what a backlash there is against it, because they're worried that people might go through and literally just not... They might look at it and go, oh shit, these guys sort of have a point, I'm not going to go and see it anymore. And I think it's more about damage control than anything. Jeffrey says in chat... Sorry.
Well, I'll make it quick. I know you want to go to bed.
Yeah.
One of the fundamental things about the internet is the interaction of people, and they're taking away comment sections and feedback and everything across the board, because they know that generally people they just don't like any of this. So yeah, all right.
Yeah. Jeffrey says in chat, your leading memes were great. Consider commenting on them when news gets slow. Jeffrey, man, I don't think news ever gets slow. That's the problem. Like, it doesn't get slow. It just keeps getting crazier, to be honest. But yeah, worst case scenario, I could always talk about memes, I suppose. Meme review. But no. But no, look, yeah, at the end of the day, there's so much news that happens on a daily basis that we leave some of it out even by accident, or stuff that we don't necessarily talk about because it's just already packed as it is. But yeah, like even today's is like a smaller news day, and there's already 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 articles up on the screen. So yeah. But yeah, I do like my memes. And if you guys do have any memes, let me know. Because I'll post them in the Discord actually. There's a link, guys, in the video description to my Discord. Post them in the Nonpartisan's Discord, and I'll put them in the front, and I might even give you credit. I might like put like submitted by or something on them.
I was going to package my year's collection of memes and give them just to you.
Yeah,
but actually, what I could do. But what I could do instead is actually package it all into a torrent and put the DHT magnet link in the Discord. And then everyone can get them.
True. Whatever you want, yeah.
Which is for torrenting. Yeah. You just use your torrent client to download it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to use a torrent client.
Well, the one important thing is that to use a magnet link, you have to have DHT turned on.
Did anybody?
You have to have your DHT turned on. Just remember that if you want it to work.
Anyway, but guys, yeah. Apart from that, obviously, look, sorry for the show being somewhat short today and me rushing through the articles. I've literally got to get to work in about 5.5 6 hours, so I'm going to go to bed. Apart from that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on any of the stories that we have talked about today? Please feel free to comment, because that way YouTube thinks I'm important, and that way Satellite and I get to talk about more about news. But yeah, no, it really does help the channel out. So obviously feel free to comment. Let us know what your favourite story was. Let us know any of the comments on any of the stories. And obviously we'll chat to you guys in the comment section. Apart from that, we still need to do our Joe Rogan Alex thing. Do you want to do it Monday?
Yeah. I think that actually would work better.
Yeah.
Last night it just didn't happen.
No, we just got stuck about talking about his favourite communist. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'll put a video up on Nonpartisan Media, and we'll let you know when it's happening. And although it has been over a week since that point, so but it's still worthwhile going through and deciphering all that information, because there was a lot. And apparently I didn't get towards the end of the podcast either. My phone cut out, so I wasn't sure how far I got into it, because the phone died. But apparently I got 3 hours and 45 minutes into it. There was still a good over an hour, so I've still got to finish it off yet. Apart from that, thank you very much for joining us tonight, man. Sorry to give you the bum rush, and everybody else to give the bum rush.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. No worries, guys. Apart from that, we will see you obviously Tuesday, if not beforehand, which will be your Monday, because time zones are a great thing. Apart from that, guys, obviously feel free to smack that like button. Don't forget to click share. Don't forget to obviously subscribe if you're new. And also, apparently YouTube doesn't think that's important enough, so now you also have to click the bell. And maybe just after all that, you might actually YouTube might actually let you know when we go live. Apart from that, guys, obviously the video has been helpful. Please smack that like button, and I will see you guys maybe over the weekend, if not Monday American time. Have a great night. Enjoy. Thanks for joining tonight, man. And I'm going to go to bed.
Alright. I'll see you all later, and see you later, Nonpartisan.
Yeah, man. Have a good night. See you guys. Bye-bye.